Hello everybody. So we've still got a while to wait until the brand new Destroy All Humans remake comes out, but that doesn't stop me from thinking about the game and following it online and wondering just what they could add to it to make it even better than the original. And so I thought I'd make a video of 5 things I would like to see in the brand new Destroy All Humans remake. Some of these are actually the same as what you guys mentioned in my original Destroy All Humans remake video in the comments, because a lot of you guys have the same thoughts as I do, but if you do have your own thoughts on what you'd like to see, put them down in the comments below because I'd really like to know what you guys think. Anyway, on to the first one, and it's a bit of an obvious one, and that is better side missions. Because yeah, let's be honest, the first game had pretty lame side missions. They were a bit half-hearted, they felt a bit lackluster, and they generally weren't very much fun to do. You had things like racing, going around different checkpoints of a map, destroying a certain number of buildings, collecting or killing a certain number of things, or even racing against cows at one point. But yeah, they just weren't great, especially when you compare them to the second game. The side missions in that one were much better. You had things like the Ruined Lives, which were actually some of my favourites, the Ruined Lives, especially the one that always comes to mind when I think of Destroy Humans 2, is the one in Albion with Eddie. And Eddie wants a sex change and you have to let him tell his wife. It's just great. Like, the side missions in the second game really give you more of a chance to explore the map and honestly get a lot more humour from the game as well, because there's just really wacky ones. So yeah, they were good. You had assassination missions, you had Cult of Ark Voodoo, of course. You just had a lot more variety and a lot more, meat to the missions. They were a lot more detailed, had a lot more depth, and I actually enjoyed doing them. So I hope they change the missions in the first game, but something tells me they probably won't. I was looking at some of the footage from E3, and one of the side missions I think was the same. It was, kill a certain number of farmers on Turnip Seed Farm. So something tells me they're not going to change the missions, but maybe they could add some more in that were a bit more detailed and had a bit more gameplay to them. Who knows? I just really think it's a good opportunity to change some of the game without changing the core storyline. You could easily add in more side missions without changing the main bit of the game. So yeah, here's hoping. The second thing I'd really like is a special edition on launch, which I think is a bit much to ask for, but man, I would love if the game came with some sort of figure or bonus item or concept art booklet. I don't know, anything like that would be great. I'm not usually a big special edition purchaser. I usually think they're a waste of money, to be honest. But since this is a series so close to my heart and, the first game in the series in years and years, I think I'd make an exception and probably buy a special edition if it came out. There's a bit of a precursor for this in that for Part of the Furon, when that came out, they released a Crypto bobblehead. And I think for Big Willy Unleashed they did a Big Willy bobblehead as well. So there has been some merchandise in the past for the game, but I think that was about it. There was no proper kind of bundle with the game and that and a concept art booklet or the soundtrack, which would be really nice. That's usually what they do, that sort of collection. And looking at Twitter with Black Forest Games, there might be something coming in that I've seen some images of like an enamel crypto head, which at least is something. It's some sort of merchandise. Like maybe they gave it out at E3, I'm not sure. But if they're willing to make that, they might be willing to make a little bit more. Who knows? But if they do, I'll be buying it. On to the third thing I really want to see, and I feel like this one has the highest chance of actually happening because it was a thing in the original game and something they could easily update, and that is the extras. Boy oh boy did the original game have a lot of extras, and I loved it. I love when games include making of things and just a bit of background to how they did something. And yeah, the original game had loads of concept art, it had making of videos, it had E3 trailers, it had voiceover outtakes, it even had clips from old B movies that they based the game on, like Teenagers from Outer Space and Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is just really cool added stuff. They didn't need to do that, but it's just made the game worth playing and also worth kind of 100%ing, because then you unlock more of the extras. So I'd love if for this new remake they put in just as many making of. They could be recording stuff right now about how they're making it and putting in behind the scenes footage and all sorts of stuff like that, because I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I really love to go back and watch that sort of stuff, and it gives me a good incentive to actually complete the game. And a lot of games don't really do that now, like have making of stuff, so I would love it if they did that. Number 4 is more weapons, and this is a bit contentious. I don't know how easily they could actually introduce more weapons without changing the gameplay too much, and therefore maybe changing the storyline a bit too much. But obviously we have the originals, we have Zap-O-Matic, Disintegrator Ray, Ion Detonator and Anal Probe, but could they possibly add in more weapons from Destroy Humans 2, like the Dislocator, the Meteor Strike, Gastro, Go Gastro, and the Burrow Beast? Because that'd be really neat. Or even weapons from other Destroy Humans games that I can't really remember, like Path of the Furon and Big Willy Unleashed. They had just as many wacky weapons as well. I think it would be a real big opportunity missed if they don't, but I can see why they wouldn't, because they want to keep it all, you know, the same. But then at the same time, no, because they've already changed things like the movement and the boost and the, you know, that general gameplay. So I don't see why they couldn't add in more weapons just to spice up the gameplay a bit more, add in a bit more variety. And also it'd be really nice to see some of these weapons done in HD, like with HD effects, like nice explosions and, you know, real nice graphics tied to them. Because the closest we've had so far is probably Path of the Furon, and that was a very ugly game if you think about it for when it was actually released. So I'd love to see some gorgeous looking weapons with some great effects and some wacky abilities, which I'm sure they could add. And on to the final thing I'd really like to see in the new Destroy Humans remake, and it's kind of similar to what I just mentioned about with more weapons, but if they don't add in more weapons, I'd like to see them at least address the weapon upgrades, because in the first game, the weapons upgrade, it's a little bit simple, it's a little bit boring, it's just, you know, upgrade 1, upgrade 2, upgrade 3, whereas in the second game, it was a bit more branching, you had a bit more thought, you know, what did you want to do first? Did you want to increase the power of the Zap-O-Matic or make it chain to different people, you know, and it was just a bit more choice, which I thought was quite nice. Didn't really address gameplay too much, but again, it's a little thing that they could add that wouldn't affect the main storyline or anything, and just more of what they could take from the sequel and put it in the first one, because let's be honest, the second game really did improve a lot, so anything they can take from the second game and pull it back into the first, I think is a good thing. And that does it. There are 5 things I would really like to see in the new Destroy Humans remake. Do you have your own thoughts? What would you like to see in the game? If you do, leave them in the comments below, because I'd love to know. And yeah, I'm sure I'll be making more update videos on the new game when more information is released, so keep an eye out on the channel. And with that, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye!